are embedded in the culture. So think of yourself as a child growing up. Think of the culture or the TV, the way that people act, and I think you'll see it rather readily. The first rule in a shame-bound family system is to always be perfect. And that always is just as crazy as the perfect. No one who is human is consistent. It just simply cannot be done. All we can do is try to do the best we can. And intellectually, I think most people understand that. But if you see dysfunctional families, often what will happen is a child under the age of 6 will drop their milk, and what you'll hear the parent say is, "Why'd you do that?" Well, that means that the parent thinks that there was some intentional behavior of the child to misbehave, or that the child should be perfect, which is an absolutely crazy thought. And the child didn't wake up and decide, well, you know, it really would be nice to get yelled at this morning before I had my breakfast. I think I'll throw my milk on the table. Nobody does that. Yeah? Our society tends to be way, way too perfectionistic. A number of years ago, I was watching a Ball State, Indiana football game. Just at the tail end, there was nothing to do, and I was just kicking around, turning channels. And at the end, Ball State won, and 2 of the players came up to the camera and said, "We're number 1, we're number 1." I feel very confident that I will die before Ball State is number 1 in football in this country. And there's no need for them to be number 1. It is fine to be simply good or simply trying. The problem that we have is that we don't value human beings for who and what we are, which is fallible. Should we try to be as good as we can? Fine, absolutely fine. But you've got to be humanistic about common human frailties. The second family rule is about control, and not only control of yourself, which is impossible enough, but somehow I'm supposed to control somebody else. Now that is absolutely impossible. If I tell you what to do, the tendency is you're going to want to do exactly the opposite. There is no way that somebody can control somebody else, but we're told that if we really love people, we'll make sure they're okay. We'll make sure they don't drink. We'll make sure that they toe the line. And we're angry at ourselves and angry at them if they don't allow themselves to do it. And that's the third rule in a dysfunctional family system. If you're not perfect, and if you're not in control, you've got to blame someone else or blame yourself. And this is the trilogy. If you follow these rules, you're going to be incredibly unhappy. Because at that point, I feel that I should be perfect and know that I'm not. I believe that you are, so I can't tell you about my weaknesses. And that leads to an incredible amount of isolation in a family system and a real sense of unreality. Now, if you don't think that you follow these, then that means that you've never gotten stopped by a red light and screamed and cussed, or you've never gotten defensive. Because that's the way shame works. As you say, "Jeff, I think you made a mistake," and I say, "Well, you make it too." What I did is felt shame, which is about personhood, not feeling good enough as a person, and I threw it back at you to make you feel lousy. Whereas if what I was looking at is behavior, which is simply about guilt, something over here, there was a mistake, oops, sorry, I'll change it. If it's about behavior, then what I can do is step back, detach, and say, oh really, where? Because it's in my interest to change the mistake.